Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another race here in Delta T Racing. Tonight, we are racing around the beautiful Singaporean Grand Prix, and you can see it on your screen yourself. This was going to be a one-shot qualifying because we will be having a 100% race after this one. Pole goes to Phantom in that V-Carb car. And we've got both the Ferraris in P2 and P3. A very impressive result by both the Ferraris as well. Stewart in P4, and then we've got Brandon in P5. Further, we've got Kenji, Hayward, Magic Poop Cannon, Waza, Miyagi, Barry Bogorovsky, Lil Mikey, Berserk, Adam, Grellis, Skipper, and Benny Buno all the way at the bottom of the grid. The two championship leaders currently at the bottom of the grid being Grellis and Benny Buno. That is not a good sign for the both of them, but obviously we will be having a 100% race, so still plenty of opportunities to go back to the front of the pack, as it will be monsoon raining. No way. We were all hoping for no rain in this 100% race, but apparently we do have rain in this race. And that will be a pain in the ass for both you, me, and everyone in the lobby, because that means this live stream will take longer than 2 hours. Hold on tight, because this is going to be a pain in the ass. Apart from that, obviously we are having a very good championship battle currently between Benny Buno and Grellis, as both drivers only separated by 1 point, as Benny Buno currently takes the championship lead, but still plenty of races to come. We've got Spain next week, Silverstone after that, and then we've got Hungary, Belgium, Japan, and Australia to finish off the season. Grellis obviously in P2, and then we've got Gunnar and Brandon in P4 and P5. Miyagi didn't do a good job getting a P7 last week. If I'm not mistaken, he was able to get a better result, but kind of messed up his race there. And then we had Joe Hayward in P6, Honey Badger in P7, and Stewart only in P8. Quite a surprise as well. The second Ferrari driver is currently in P12, being Reliot. Didn't have a great race either last week. P13 for the Ferrari driver. But apart from that, yeah, he's just going to have to get a good result here tonight. He's currently in P2. He should be able to get into the lead of the race rather soon, because Phantom isn't a very well-known name here, only in P13 in the Drivers' Championship. He's only taken part in 2 races, though. Last week he got P2, which put him on the podium, obviously, and also gave him a decent amount of points. But yeah, really has got to do something here for the Ferrari team, because they're currently in P3 in the Constructors, with about 20 points behind Alpine. Alpine is currently represented by Stewart and Grellis, of course, a very strong team as well. And then we've got Mercedes in the middle of them. Let me just have a quick look in the chat here. Pipkin, maybe it's gonna dry and up. Hello, wet race for Division 1 means no rain tomorrow night. Well, hopefully. Sacrifice D142. Hi there. What? Well, yeah, everyone wants a dry race. I understand, but this is gonna be a pain in the ass. It's wet, so I don't think it's gonna get better anytime soon. Everyone is with umbrellas in the stadium there. That's actually crazy. I've never seen anyone. They're all look at that. They aren't even wearing coats. They're just full on with these circus umbrellas. Crazy shit there. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's see if anyone is choosing to go into the intermediates. Apparently not, as we want to put the position changes on screen. And there's one driver who got disqualified, being Waza, currently in P9. His tires will be very, very cold. Not that it matters too much, as obviously your tires cannot be too hot here in the wet tire conditions. And Fenton is gonna put himself in pole position in that first spot of this race, as he needs to find his way around the Aston Martin driver, and then he can go. The Ferrari driver Reliot is already on the right place, and that might be a little strategic play there by Reliot, as obviously his tires have cooled down again at the moment. Phantom with a beautiful car placement. He wants to defend that inside line as soon as possible, and we're gonna be ready to go in about a second or 5. When the 5 red lights are gone, obviously it's 5 red lights. It's pedal to the metal here in Singapore, with Reliot trying to make an overtake down the inside of Phantom, but a really bad start there from the Ferrari driver. as Phantom has has gone through in P1. Stewart shooting himself up the inside here, as Kenji made up a position as well, and it seems to be all clean, although Waza with an aggressive move on his very own teammate, Lil Mikey, who now drops back to P10, as Kenji is trying to go and chase down Gunnar here in Sector 1 already. Heading into Sector 2, it's going to be 62 laps here in that Singaporean Grand Prix. Barry Bogorovsky drops 5 positions early in this race already. 5 positions all the way from P11 to P16. So not a great start from the Dutch driver. Benny Buno is making his way through the field already, as he got a disqualification throughout the qualifying simply because he cut the corner, probably, most likely. But he's already up in P12, gained 5 positions, came from P17 to P12, so a good job there by the McLaren driver, as we might need to look at Grelis here, still stuck in that P15 position, so this is not great for Grelis. He's seeing his main driver championship contender run away with the points at the moment, although Benny Buno not necessarily scoring any points yet, but he's looking to real quick. Grelis now making a move up the inside of Adam. And Adam is a new name, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't seen him before, and he's going to be racing in that Red Bull seat. Up the inside he goes. Is he going to go for a move? He makes it stick, though, but simply can't get a good exit out of that corner. As we're now going through this little straight, let's see whether Adam is going to hold on tight. Seems like he is. Up the inside he goes. Oh, and he will break way later, almost taking out the McLaren driver, but he's shoving Grelis off track. And Phantom now with the fastest lap so far, heading into lap 2 out of the 62, and we still have plenty of racing to go. Skipper and Barry currently losing the tail of Berserk, because you might want to go back on board with Kenji here. Still stuck behind Gunnar, although Reliot is running away from his very own teammate, and he needs to get back to Stewart and Phantom, obviously. Let me have a quick check here with Hayward, as both the Mercedes drivers most likely trying to work together with each other to get back to that top 5, because there's where the big points will be scored. Now I'm unsure whether the guys are able to get a Joker in on this race. If anyone in the chat could give me that information, that would be very much appreciated. As Miyagi on the tail of Waza. And Miyagi not a really decent season either. He's currently in P4 or P5 in the Drivers' Championship, which sounds great, but he's really just given away a couple of decent amount of positions here last couple of races, and that right now as well. P10, not great for the Greek driver. So we really want to see him up there with the big guns like Gunnar, like Brandon, like Stewart. Simply because he needs the points to be able to get onto the podium in the Drivers' Championship. He seems to be sliding all over the place. Maybe he's not a great wet tire condition driver, but you never know. Grelis now with a move on Adam again, and that was most likely a beautiful move. Loses the car a little bit though, but still has some decent pace down the straight. So he's now on the tail of that McLaren driver. Really needs to make that overtake to be able to get a decent amount of points ahead of Benny Buno. They now... Oh, look at Adam right the outside. Not much room given by Grelis, though. As Adam still sticks it down the inside. Learn from his mistakes. Doesn't go up the inside this time around as aggressive as he did last time. And he lets Grelis go through. And now he'll have to wait his turn. No DRS available here throughout the races. Obviously, these guys are racing in very rainy conditions, so it's not likely that the DRS will be enabled anytime soon, because it can create a very dangerous situation for the drivers here in Singapore. And this grill is now on the tail of Benny Buno once again. You want to see a heavy battle between these two. The two championship leaders only separated by 1 point. As Grelis seems to be struggling coming out of the corners, loses the car every now and then, and you can really see Benny Buno run away here coming down the straight because he has a better exit as well. Not necessarily stuck in the dirty air of Magic Poop Cannon either. Grelis seems to be a little faster coming through the slower corners, but you can really see Benny Buno run away in the faster corners. Most likely this one. Yeah, you can really see him run away here. It went from 5/10 to actually 4 times, so Grelis gained a bit of time here coming down the straight, but then once again goes a little deeper, loses the car real quick, but it doesn't seem too easy to make an overtake on anyone ahead of them. Benny Bruno really needs to wait for a little mistake from maybe Magic Boop Cannon, maybe Mr. Miyagi. Although Mr. Miyagi is the most likely one to make a mistake out of the top 10 at the moment. He's not very well known as a very consistent driver, but Grellis really seems to be struggling here, loses the rear end quite often, which is not great. Ooh, Grellis, what are you doing there, buddy? Oh yeah, Grellis going into the back of Benny Bruno now. That was not great. Hopefully he didn't get any front wing damage off that. But apart from that, we are really looking at Lil Mikey and Waza making a big gap in between themselves, and Lil Mikey not necessarily being able to keep up with the Mercedes drivers at the moment. A big gap in that top 4 as well. We've got 3 seconds for a Phantom currently in the lead of the race, and I'm afraid that it will be a very, very boring race for the V-Carb driver if there is not going to be any safety cars here either. Stewart racing a very lonely race as well. Simply the only thing he can do is push as much as he can. He's gaining a bit of time now, 2 tenths, 3 tenths here in sector 2, but he really needs to push to be able to get back to Phantom. I don't think Reliot or Gunnar are both going to be able to get back to the Alpine at the moment. And then we've got Kenji on the tail of Gunnar, gaining a bit of time here, back within that 1 second of the Ferrari driver, so maybe he can benefit from the slipstream a little bit more. Has to watch out for the dirty air though, and maybe try to seek some wet spots to be able to cool down your tires, because that is another thing here for the racers in Singapore. Your tires are going to get overheated rather quickly because the dry lines are forming and the wet tires are heating up really, really quickly. So you want to race in that wet as much as possible to cool down the tires, to be a little bit faster, because otherwise they're going to be slidey as much as possible. And you know, Kenji seems to be sliding coming through the corners as well, and this is exactly what he doesn't need. So maybe he needs to cool down the tires. Not sure if it's maybe the setup, and I would be very interested to know whether the guys are going to be seeing any oh, and Benny Bruno crashed. Did Benny Bruno crash, or did he just get overtaken? Apparently he got overtaken by both Adam and Grellis. And is this going to be another contender? Oh, there goes Benny Bruno. In the wall he goes, and a broken front wing as well, right ahead of the pit lane. So that is good news. He can come back into the pit lane and, you know, put on some new tires and put on a new front wing. And try to go as oh, wait, I got kicked. Oh, well, that's great. Man, F1 is a shit game. Am I the only one? Let me just double check here. What is happening? Guys, I don't have the answer either. And nobody is answering to me, so I would assume that I'm the only one who got kicked. Well, I didn't necessarily got kicked. I'm just... Oh, it was a red flag apparently. Oh, okay, so it's 5 red lights again, I guess. Here we go, Phantom. Well, this is really strange. This is really strange. All right. Well, the Ferrari's making it out ahead of everyone else. Well, obviously, you've got Phantom and Stewart current. Oh, Stewart going for a move down the inside. Has a decent exit, sliding all over the place, though. But he keeps the car. A lot of carnage here at the back of the grid. There's 3 drivers. What was that? All right, Lil Mikey getting a 10-second time penalty for illegal blocking. This is something I've never seen before. Why did we get a red flag, though? Why is that? Miyagi was caught up in that incident together with Grellis, as Benny Bruno now making an overtake on Berserk. Berserk is going for a move again down the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Apparently not. Benny Bruno, way better exit coming around the outside, as the outside line gives you more speed coming out of that corner. So we might get to see dry weather. No ID. Or a dry track. That could be it. Let me just double check here with the tires. Still wet tires. So we should be good for another couple of laps on the wet tires. Let me just double check here with the guys ahead. As Stewart slowly losing a bit of time, almost dropping out of that 1 second again, but then heading into a corner, he's gaining time, but coming out of a corner, he's losing a lot of time on Phantom. So a little tip for Stewart there, maybe go a little bit earlier on the brakes, but then again, he gains time coming down the straight, gains time coming into a corner, and then loses time again coming out of the corner. As Wasai apparently got retired from the session, he crashed coming down the straight in sector 3. Are we going to see a virtual safety car? No, another red flag. And in my opinion, they should give like a big red flag in your screen, because right now I'm assuming I'm getting kicked when I don't look at the track at the bottom right corner. But another red flag. I think this must be a record as well here in Delta T Racing. And I'm not sure whether the guys are able to change their setups, change the tires. I would presume they are able to change the tires, but it's going to be another chaotic. But at least at the pace that this is going at the moment with the red flags, we're going to be done before 9 o'clock. Because I mean, every time that we have a red flag, we're restarting well, not necessarily restarting the lap, but we're going to the other lap, the next lap. It's 5 red lights here, so we might want to go on board with Stewart. Let's see whether he's going to be getting an overtake done this time around. Seems like he has a better exit than his first and second restart, but he once again cannot benefit from that inside position during the race start. A little slidiness there from Phantom as well. Yes, we might want to go on board here with Hayward and Adam, who had a really decent start here. Currently in P7. Benny Bruno making an overtake on Brandon as well. Let's go on board with Grelis as he's currently in a heated battle with Brandon and Benny Bruno. Here comes Grelis down the inside. Is he going to make it stick? I think he will be. I think he will be making that overtake before the corner is there. Although, not necessarily. Side by side they go. Benny Bruno going a little bit slower, trying to hold up the other guys. But Grelis had an excellent exit. Oh, and Grelis loses the car, but still has the outside line. Will have a better exit. Is he going to make it stick down the inside? Seems like he is. As they're coming out of the corner side by side now. Grelis really needs the straight line speed to be able to make that overtake and make that position stick. And I think he will be able to up into P8. Some beautiful racing there between Grelis and Benny Bruno. Let's see what we're going to be seeing from Hayward here in Singapore. As we're coming down the straight now, a really bad exit by the Mercedes driver. Kenji right ahead of him. But we're seeing a big gap between Elliott and Stewart once again, only after half a lap here in Singapore. It's already sized up to about 1.5 seconds, maybe even 2 seconds at the end of lap 10. Stewart got a penalty though, so really needs to watch out with those penalties, because whenever Elliott or Gunnar are going to be gaining a bit of time, or whenever there is a red flag later throughout the race, we're going to be seeing that 3-second time penalty come into handy for both Ferrari drivers. But then at least apparently Honey Badger, who's usually racing in the Red Bull car, he says that rookie in the Red Bull is keeping it alive this time around. And apparently he is. He's doing a good job. He does seem to be sliding a little bit too much, though, a little bit too much for comfort. And there is some dry lines forming, so maybe he wants to go and try to go onto the wet spots to cool down those tires, because they seem really, really hot at the moment. And you can really see those dry lines forming here in Singapore. A good exit by Adam, but he gets hold up by Hayward, who simply couldn't find the right spot to brake in a turn. Let me guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been turn 7, actually. And this is going to be turn 8, this is going to be turn 9, and then we've got turn 10. This one, and then we've got turn 11. I quickly got to do the math. It's just something I usually do in my mind before the race, but today it's not going to be before the race, it's going to be during the race, and you guys can get to know my thought process there as well. It's well, Adam doesn't seem to be quickly making any moves. Oh, a little move there. A little snap from Grelis, as I think Adam got a track warning. Went a little bit too much off track. Oh, look at the Kick Sauber driver. A really bad exit. Adam, who brakes a little earlier, as Joe Hayward now crashing out Kenji, but keeps it out alive. Phantom with a 146.4, fastest lap so far. Down the inside goes Adam, but oh, I think his Grell is going to benefit from this little mistake by the Red Bull driver. Down the inside he goes, and he's going to be ahead of Adam before the corner. Wasa, who's left the session. Benny Buno, he cannot be behind the rookie. He simply cannot be behind the rookie. He needs to stick to the tail of Grellis if he wants to keep his championship lead. Oh, and a little tap with the wall there as well. Might have a broken front wing. A 3-second time penalty for Benny Buno as well. I'm afraid that he's going to drop many positions, as well as he's going to lose that, well, simply a couple of positions, because he's got to change the front wing, and he's got a 3-second time penalty as well. Let's go on board here with Grellis. And we move on Joe Hayward down the inside, but a really decent exit by Joe. Stuck down the inside and simply kept the position, but now Grellis with the outside line. Down the straight they go. It's going to be the Alpine driver ahead of Hayward, and that's going to be some beautiful defense by Grellis already. Let's have a quick look here with the guys at the back of the grid, although it's Benny Buno looking to make a move on Adam this time around. Let's see what Adam can do on the tail of Hayward. There's something I really admire about Hayward. He never gives up. So right now he just got overtaken by Grellis, but you can damn sure be sure that he's going to be putting a lot of adrenaline in his hands. Does that even make sense? Like in his body, and he wants to push as much as possible, trying to get back to Grellis and get a little bit of payback for that move he made earlier on. But he's got that annoying rookie on the tail, and I'm afraid that Adam really has got the pace here in this Red Bull car to be able to make an overtake on Hayward again. Onto the curb he goes, and you can really see the differences. Oh, and there goes Adam, loses the car a little bit too fast onto the throttle. And that is really something you got to watch out for here in Singapore. Hayward went a little bit too deep into that corner. Lost the car. Adam kisses the wall. They couldn't recover. And this is some really on the edge driving from the guys. Kenji down the inside sticks his tail on the rear tire of Grellis. But couldn't keep the position. I don't think it was allowed even to stick the tail up the inside there, simply because he didn't have the right to make an overtake coming into that corner, because he wasn't necessarily alongside Grellis. You really need to be a little bit more alongside Grellis to be able to get the right of the corner. My apologies. According to Honey Badger in the chat, P5 to P15 is forming a good DRS train. And I would say, well, not necessarily a DRS train. He's just a train, but I'm saying DRS train because I thought it was the guys had DRS. Well, I didn't think they had DRS, but usually you would have DRS and you would call it the DRS train, but there's no DRS in the wet weather, so makes sense, right? Will Mikey on the tail of Berserk, and a lot of penalties for the guys here at the bottom of the grid. 10 seconds for Brandon as well, together with Mikey. They most likely had a little incident there with another car. If I'm not mistaken, little Mikey's was blocking the car, and that was Berserk. No, it was not Berserk. It was Miyaki. It was Miyaki and Benny Buno as well. And then I don't know what the penalty for Brandon is. I could look that up later on, but obviously we've got still plenty of racing to go here. About 48 laps left to go. Adam now having a little slipstream from Joe Hayward. Yes, you might want to go on board with Magic Boop Cannon here. Maybe Barry Bogorovsky or Miyagi, who once again really unlucky with that crash with Lil Mikey. It's just he dropped so many positions as well with that little incident. He dropped about 5. He went from P10 to P15. Look at how close Adam is behind Hayward. You really gotta admire that, because he should have a lot of dirty air at the moment. And a beautiful view from the F1 game as well. I hope they add this more in the F1 25 game. By the way, I don't know if you've seen the... Oh, look at Adam. Had an excellent exit and now goes and tried to go around the outside. Maybe with a switchback. Ah, cannot get the right exit. Here he goes. Once again. Ah, he backs out of it. Phantom with the fastest lap. As the guys are getting a little more comfortable here in the rain at the moment. And I'm really wondering who the next driver will be to crash into the wall and cause another yellow or even a red flag. Oh, and apparently Hayward has got a broken front wing as well. This is no good news for the Mercedes driver. Although he's keeping up strong though. He's keeping Adam behind him. He's trying to chase down Kenji and he's doing a good job at it. Magic Poop Cannon coming down the straight as he's trying to chase down Berserk, but no need in actually making that overtake on the Haas driver because you've got that 3-second time penalty for Berserk, which is already going to place him down about 2 or 3 positions too, actually, as Skipper is 10 seconds behind Miyagi. But it seems like the guys really don't know how to take the corners here in the wet tire conditions, because you saw that Berserk really went wide here as well. Maybe they don't necessarily know their braking points as well as they do in the dry weather. I don't know if these guys are racing with their braking line on. My apologies. Here comes Magic Poop Cannon on the tail of Berserk. But once again, no overtaking opportunity. Grellis right behind Gunnar as he quickly makes that overtake. And what a move from Grellis. Didn't really put any effort into that. And his next target will be Relly. And I think Gunnar definitely should have tried to do more about that, because now Grellis can push a little bit more. He's got about 1.4 seconds to make up for. But as soon as that 1.4 seconds has been made up for, he can quickly make that overtake on Relly at Berserk with another 3-second time penalty. Stay hydrated, man. It's a long race to watch. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to drink as much as possible, but my water bottle is almost gone. So, well, it's not gone. It's empty. I'll quickly send a message to my mom. That's a good idea. Let me do that real quick. There we go. The message has been sent. Great success. But yeah, indeed, it's a really long race. I don't know who the ID came from to have a 100% race, but I really don't like to commentate on those. It's just, I don't know. It's such a long race, and there's not always too much to talk about, and moves are not being made. And Adam, who does get a 3-second time penalty, he finds himself still in P8 behind Hayward. Oh, and he goes for a move. Oh, and he loses the car. This is not the racing I would like to see. And Benny Buno on the tail of Adam. There goes Adam. There goes Adam. Oh, he's really playing around with the throttle there. Brandon, what a surprise as well. He dropped from P5, currently in P10. He dropped about 5 positions, and that is a really surprising factor for the champion of last season in Division 1, because he used to be such a consistent driver, never made any mistakes, and now drops back to P10 just like that. Phantom has given both Alpines a challenge tonight, and it definitely seems like it. You know, you've got about a 15-second gap to Phantom already for Grellis, and 15 seconds is quite a bit. I think you really need to gain about 3/10 a lap, maybe even 4/10, 5/10 a lap to be able to get back to Phantom. And you cannot necessarily make any mistakes doing that, because as soon as you make a mistake, you're going to drop your lead again, and you're going to have to make up for about a second. So it's a real challenge here for Grellis. I don't think he's going to get the race win unless there is going to be another red flag or a yellow flag or a safety car. But it seems like everyone is keeping their cars on track at the moment. No mistakes to be spotted. Well, only Adam, who kind of lost his car every now and then. As he's been overtaken by Benny Buno. Yeah, nobody really looking to make any overtakes at the moment, and we're heading into lap 18 out of the 62. Oh, Jesus, this is going to take so long. Oh, Mr. Miyagi got overtaken by Barry Bogorovsky. Or did he catch up to the Williams driver? I think they're definitely seeking a good battle with each other. Oh, Relius got past Reliant. Did I say Relis? I think I did. Mr. Reliant, Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, goes for a move. No, backs out of it. Backs out of it. Adam T now as well in P9. Oh, look at that. I would think that gains you a bit of time, but apparently he lost a bit of time to Benny Buno there. Coming down the straight now goes Adam. Benny Buno, what a comeback race so far. He had an incident with Lil Mikey and Mr. Miyagi. He had a broken front wing, and I think he still has that broken front wing. He actually does. But still managed to gain about 9 positions. I heard Reliant got past Reliant. Then I also heard Mr. Reliant instead of Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, I know. Oh, man. Thank you, Daniel. Really appreciate it. No, the reason for being so confused is because I've been coding a new Discord bot for about 2 hours yet so far. Well, not now, obviously, because I'm commentating. But it's with a lot of words and a lot of different things. So I tried to do some coding there, and well, it works. The bot works, which is good news. I can now do my personalized, how do you call that? Check-in bot, whatever you want to call it. So that's great news. I like that, actually. But yeah, it really messes up my head. I feel like I've been really confused for the last couple of races now. And I feel like you can really see that on the... It's only been 19 laps and Thomas is falling asleep. Sort of. The problem is that I'm not necessarily feeling any groove in doing any commentary anymore. It's just like I've been... I don't know. I need a little break for some reason. Plus a 100% race is too fucking much. Like, the race would be done in about 12 laps already. 11 laps, actually. And I still have about 42 to go. It also helps if there would be anyone next to me. Because then you can actually talk to somebody. Right now, I'm talking to myself into a screen, so... Anyone? Oh, Honey Badger, do you maybe want to drop into the co-coms with me, buddy? Or anyone else, Daniel, if you feel like it. I can drop a simple invite and you can join the co-coms. It's okay if you don't want to do it. It's just, you know, oh man, you've got rain and the moves are usually not there. They're just not there. You can see Adam being stuck behind Benny Budo for quite some time now already. If he doesn't lose the car again. Oh, he's just so snappy coming out of the corners. Here he comes. And then when he comes out of this corner, he's going to be sliding all over the place. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. Crazy. What do you guys think of the new sponsor of Formula 1? It's not going to be Rolex anymore, is it? It's going to be Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, the French brand. Or is it Swiss? I have no idea. Somewhere where they do speak French. It's Gunnar currently leading this little... Well, it's not necessarily that little. It goes all the way from P5 to P10. A little train here is they're trying to catch up to Aurelian as well. Did I say Aurelian before? I meant Gunnar. Kinji now, I'm looking for a move anytime soon. He's right up the tail of Gunnar here. And the question is, will he make it stick? It's really slippery out here. We're seeing drivers, multiple drivers, lose their cars and slide all over the place. And that is exactly what Kenji doesn't need in order to make that overtake on Gunnar. Really, who does have a penalty though. So that is not a good news for the Ferrari driver. As, the other one is currently struggling to keep Kenji behind him. And we've also got Hayward. But he'll lose a couple of positions when switching off that front wing. Together with Benny Buno as well. They're going to drop probably to P10 and P11 maybe. Depends on where little Mikey is going to finish. And whether he can get back to the little group. Well, finish. Where he's going to end up after the pit entry. Seems like everyone really keeping their cars within the track limits, except for Stewart, obviously. He just got his second penalty. And that is not necessarily going to make him drop a position. Maybe Kenji here with a move. He tried to go down the inside, backed out of it again. Adam maybe. No, backs out of it again. Coming into turn 1. Magic poop can. And that 10-second time penalty of Mikey will really do him dirty. Because... well, he got caught up in an incident. He's gonna have to serve that in the pit lane as well. And usually in most leagues you won't be able to get that removed. But maybe here in Delta T Racing he will be able to. It would really be a big help for a little Mikey as well. But then later on throughout the race, he's gonna... my water is here, guys. There we go. Merci. Water delivery, the water boy. No, it's actually my mom, so it's the water girl, the water woman. Actually, that's a really good name for like a superhero or something. Water woman. Hey, wayo, that is crazy. Like somebody who shoots water and stuff, like water woman. Da-da-da. Well, water woman is definitely shooting out rain out of the sky at the moment. Let's have a quick look with the penalties. 6 seconds for Stewart, which is going to make him drop 0 positions, which is good news. But he simply cannot have another safety car. Grelis, though, he did gain a couple of seconds so far, so at this pace he might be able to get back into that top 2 position with the use of that penalty. Relative with a 3-second time penalty, and we've got 3 seconds for Benny Bruno and Adam, and 10 seconds for Brandon and Lil Mikey, 6 seconds for Berserk as well, and that's about it. So I'm quite surprised with the amount of penalties we are seeing tonight. Well, there we've got another penalty. Joe Hayward with a 3-second time penalty. And usually in a 50% race, we always see drivers get a lot of penalties at the end, at the later stage of the race. And this would be around that 50% mark. Well, not necessarily. It would be around 40%. But in between the 40 and the 50%, we usually see those penalties handed out. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. It doesn't seem to be too easy for Hayward to keep the car on track, as we heard him lock up every now and then. Oh, Benny Bruno going for a move a little too aggressive, as both Kenji and Gunnar are clinching wheels with each other as well. Gunnar, who does keep P5, but Kenji will definitely not be happy with that. Maybe even got a little bit of damage because of that little squeeze by the Ferrari driver. Now, a really awkward line for Gunnar. Kenji is going to go for a move, but backs out of it again, not side by side with the Ferrari driver. As we're heading into lap 24 out of the 62. Oh yeah, look at that. Joe Hayward clinching wheels with Benny Bruno. A little tap there on the rear of the McLaren driver. Oh yeah, look at that. Adam with an aggressive move. Coming down the straight. Joe Hayward has way better downforce. Well, not necessarily downforce. How do you call that? It's not downforce, because downforce is going to make you faster throughout the corners, but... Oh no, the Ferrari car loses his front wing because he ended up in the back of Benny Bruno. He has a little problem with braking on time there. We've seen it before where he ended up in the back of somebody else, and now he has the exact same issue. Might have been a strategical plan there, as Joe Hayward now getting alongside Adam and simply makes that overtake. Adam loses the car again. Will Joe Hayward be able to keep the position and maybe even get Brandon to make an overtake on Adam there? That would be wonderful for the Mercedes team, because they definitely need some extra points for that Mercedes team. It's not looking great out there for Mercedes at the moment, especially seeing Alpine in P2 and P3, seeing Ferrari in P4 and P5, and then seeing Benny Bruno in P7, who's going to score a little more points than Hayward. So Benny Bruno once again carrying this team by himself, and we've seen that multiple times. Let's drag. That's it. Thank you very much, Honey Badger. We've seen it multiple times throughout the season that Benny Bruno is all by himself. I can't even think who the teammate is of Honey Badger. Who's the teammate of Honey Badger? Honey Badger, what did I say? Benny Bruno. Who's the teammate of Benny Bruno? I actually have no idea. As apparently Kenji and Benny Bruno are having a heated battle there. Oh, Kenji went way too deep. Loses 3 positions in one corner because he went way too deep coming out of the corner. And is that going to be Brandon? Seems like it is. Although he backs out of it again. Let's go on board with Adam. Oh, and a little mistake there by Joe Hayward. Watch out, Adam. Oh, yeah. Joe Hayward seems to be struggling Are the tires done for? I think the guys will be coming back into the pits around lap 30, 31, 32, maybe even 30, because that's where you're gonna make the undercut work, and then next lap your tires will be degrading less because your car has less fuel, if that makes sense. Then the inside goes Adam. Saw a little gap. And he gets a 3-second time penalty on top of that. This is not great by Adam, but at least his car is still alive and working. It's not in the wall or anything, which is very good news. Benny Bruno lost the toe of Gunnar as well, as both the Ferrari cars are now working together, trying to get back to Grillis and Stewart. Grillis not doing anything, well, bad, but he's not doing anything great either. He's still stuck around that 13-second mark behind his teammate, and Stewart is just simply losing time to Phantom at the moment. So it's looking like Phantom is, well, I'm not going to say easily, but he does make it look easy. Easily going to win this race, but still more than half of the race to go, so anything can happen. A late safety car, a red flag, and then you're going to have that Grellis guy right around the corner to try and make an overtake right at the start of that either safety car restart or the red flag restart. According to Honey Badger, Adam is really slow coming down the straight. And I agree with you there. He simply cannot necessarily get decent exits coming out of the corner. And that's also going to make you really lose a bit of time. Benny Bruno caught up to Gunnar there, as he now finds himself into the top 5. What a comeback race by Benny Bruno after a really poor incident with Lil Mikey and who was it again, Mr. Miyagi. On the other hand, Mr. Miyagi simply cannot get back to the rest of the guys. Look at the difference between Barry Bogorowski and Miyagi. They had a battle earlier. It might have been because Miyagi already came into the pits. We don't know for sure. But Skipper not having a great race either. Currently 30 seconds behind Barry Bogorowski. They were in a battle throughout the first few laps of the race as well. And he's really gotta step up the pace at the moment here in Singapore. Let's have a look with Hayward side by side with Gunnar, but look at the straight line speed from the Ferrari driver. Although Hayward back into the slipstream. Has to back out of it again. And he gives a little tap to Gunnar once again. And now Adam with a beautiful overtake and benefited from the mistake of the Mercedes driver. And there he goes. Seems to be really slippery out there. And I personally never liked to race in the rain. When I knew there was a rainy race, I simply said I couldn't race or whatever if it was a track with at least a little bit of chance of rain, which you're gonna have at most tracks. But really the tracks like Singapore, tracks like Belgium, not that I didn't like to race on Belgium, but it was a real pain in the ass. And there goes Benny Bruno into the top 4. Reliant trying to make his move up the inside, but simply couldn't hold on tight. And we've got a yellow flag. Joe Hayward is in the wall. Is that going to be a safety car? Doesn't seem like it. Just a yellow flag or a red flag maybe. Are we seeing any damage on track? I don't think so. Nope. No red flag, no yellow flag. So we're having a battle again here between Adam and Gunnar. Look at that. What a move coming around the last corner. And it's Adam ahead of Gunnar. The Ferrari simply losing a lot of time here. Maybe they're dropping a little bit of pace because of the tires. That could be it. Kenji's already coming into the pits. Lap 28, that's a little early. He's going to have to go on 34 lap old soft tires. But maybe he's hoping that the track will clear up at the end of the race. Dry lines are forming, which is good news for most drivers. But then again, you're really going to have to cool down the tires as much as possible. The guys in the top three really racing in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Simply haven't seen anyone except for that during that red flag situation. Adam has had some good battles here, and now one with Brilliant as well. It's Brilliant, a really experienced driver. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was in a decent position in the Drivers' Championship last season as well. I think he got into the top three, which is a great accomplishment. But this season, he's nowhere. Well, nowhere is a bit much to say, but he's not in the top two. Let me just double check again with the results here for you guys. Brilliant is currently P12. As I said before, he isn't doing a great job. Then his teammate, on the other hand, is in P3. So that's great for Ferrari. And here comes Brilliant, now the faster driver of Ferrari. And he's not going to go for a move. I think he really wants to score these points. In what tires is Kenji? Let me just double check for you here. I think that would be the wet tires. It is indeed the wet tires. 7 lap old? Wait, did he come into the pits lap 22? No. Wait, this doesn't make sense. Wait, this doesn't make sense, guys. I'm confused. I think he used the tires he used when starting the Grand Prix, and then he switched on to a new set of wet tires when that red flag came out, which was around lap 8. That's true. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm not sure how many wet tire compounds you have. I think it's 3 or 4, or is there no limit? I don't know. It could be that there is no limit. Apparently only have 2 new wet tire compounds in a race. So that's really unfortunate. What if you have... Alright, hypothetically, what if you have 2 punctures because of debris on track? Do you not get another extra set of wet tires? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. That blows up my head. Or blows my mind, or however you English people say it. English natives. Magic Poop Cannon making a move on Hayward as well. Hayward is really struggling here. Comes into the pits. He's gonna switch his front wing, most likely. And yes, that is indeed the case. And he goes back on track. Drops back to P13, and maybe P14, and even P15. Then why is he unused? I couldn't tell you. Honey. Honey. Oh no, it's money. It's not honey. Isn't there a song by ABBA as well, which is called Honey or something? I should Google that. Adam and Benny Bruno, the famous duo here in Singapore, as we're currently heading into the halfway point of this Singaporean Grand Prix. Still plenty of racing to go, but we still have a lot of time to go. About an hour still before this Grand Prix can be finished off. Adam not looking to make a move anytime soon. He's simply waiting for a mistake from Benny Bruno. Although we don't see them happen very often. Every now and then he does make a little mistake, but then he recovers quite fine, like he did in the beginning of the red flag restart. Brandon drops back to P12. He comes into the pits. He's going to be ahead of Kenji. Or is he not? I don't think he is, actually. Skipper with a 3-second time penalty. Did Brandon have a broken front wing as well? He's going to be behind Mr. Miyagi, but Kenji still has to come into the pits one more time. And I'm really curious to see when the top guys are coming into the pits. Simply because, are they waiting for lighter rain to switch on to the intermediates? Or what are they even waiting for? You know, like, if it's not going to dry up anytime soon, there's no point in staying out on these tires, because you're going to make yourself way slower than you need to be. And that's not very useful, is it? And plenty of these guys are staying out at the moment. You've got Benny Buno, you've got Grelis, you've got Stewart. Benny Buno actually should come into the pits, because he's got a broken front wing. Here comes Adam again. And he backs out of it. Very unfortunate. He wasn't necessarily alongside, but I'm pretty sure he can make a dive bomb or something. A la Ricciardo. Ricciardo in Italian. If I'm not mistaken, it's an Italian name, because he actually has a grandma or a grandpa who is Italian, and that's where he got his name from. So it's not Ricciardo, it's Ricciardo alla Italiano. All'italiano. Sì. Ricciardo. Io sono italiano. No. Sono Belgio. For anyone who speaks Italian, I don't speak Italian. I tried to learn it through Duolingo once, but failed miserably. Failed miserably. Mr. Miyagi and Kenji are having a battle with each other, and that has been a battle that's been going on for quite some time now in this race as well. Miyagi, who's on old used tires, and you've got Kenji being on fresher wet tires. But Miyagi is really putting up a battle here for oh no, they're on pretty similar tires actually. I didn't know Miyagi already came into the pits. That might explain why he was so close to Skipper earlier on. Here he comes. Is he gonna go for a move? Apparently he is, side by side with Kenji now as he's ahead. Clips the wall though. He misses his front plate as well. And that's not gonna make these battles easier either. Around the last corner goes Miyagi and Kenji. And he's 2 seconds slower than his fastest lap. Benny Buno has made another move on. Oh, look at Adam. He's gonna make it stick though. A really good driver there. Barely makes any contact with Benny Buno. Although we did see him make a very impressive dive bomb earlier this race, but let's forget about that real quick. Apart from that, he's just done an excellent job during his battles with Benny Buno, with Grelis, with other drivers like Hayward as well. We've seen Hayward and Adam having a heated battle with each other as well. It doesn't look like these guys are coming into the pits. Otherwise, they would have come into the pits already. And now the drivers who did come into the pits have an advantage. And who would that be? Brandon, Hayward? All those guys. Let's have a quick look. Oh, they already made 2 pit stops. Oh, they all don't have any tires left. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, so they all don't have any tires left. So they're all on fresher tires. So that would be about 22 laps of tires. Well, maybe 24 laps of tires. Not bad, not great either. I'm pretty sure we're going to see them come into the pits one more time, but then to go onto those tires they went on at the beginning of the Grand Prix. Kenji and Miyagi now coming into sector 3. Yes, it's going to be Kenji coming out ahead. Down the inside he goes. Look at that. What a move from Miyagi. Simply keeps the car around the outside. Does lose the position though. But he's... Oh, look at the straight line speed from the Greek freak. What a great move by Mr. Miyagi. And that will be position 1 for the Haas drivers. Does have a penalty though. No, that's Berserk. He's safe. He's clean. He just needs to run away at the moment. And it seems to be pretty easy for Miyagi as he's already made up about a 7-10 gap. So that leaves us with Adam and Benny Buno, the only drivers who are still having a battle with each other. Berserk is now gaining some time on Barry Bogorovsky here as well. According to Honey Badger, you get 2 wet tires and 3 intermediates. That's what he knows. That's my very own source who didn't have his sources checked out. No, he probably did, but... Are you sure, Honey Badger? Are you 100% sure? No, just don't worry, buddy. You don't need to answer that. Here they go. Adam. Backside of it again. Not even close enough. He's 4 tenths behind Benny Buno. So you might want to go on board with Berserk here on the tail of Barry Bogorovsky. And if he's going to have a good exit coming out of the last corner, which he doesn't because he loses the car, he would have been able to make an overtake. But yeah, this is looking like a real pain in the ass for the drivers out here at the moment. They cannot turn the car well. They're losing the car coming out of the corners, and it's not looking easy. It's not looking easy. We can really hear the tires lock up for Berserk. This is not great because his tires will be gone before Barry's, and then he's got to come into the pits earlier and blah, blah, blah. You really have to try and stay out on the tires for as long as possible. Try to not lock up the tires. Try to not do any silly stuff on the tires you have right now, but easier said than done, isn't it? Here he comes. Oh, an aggressive move from Berserk. Goes late onto the brakes, even cuts the corner. Oh, Adam and Betty Boot. These two are going to be having a battle until they die. Mr. Miyagi took the chance to run away from Kenji, as the Greek driver has a 3.3 gap to Kenji in about 2 or 3 laps already. So that's good news for Mr. Miyagi. He already put the fastest lap on the board as well, as Berserk just got up to Barry Bogorovsky. I'm not sure why he takes a corner like that, because you need to maximize the exit, and by going a little bit tighter into the corner and also coming out of the corner a little bit tighter, you're really gonna minimize the amount of gains you can have down the straight. So maybe Berserk really needs to look out for maximum gains coming down the straight. And yeah, you see how much time he loses to Barry there. Now he is going to gain a little bit coming down the straight, but that's mainly because of the slipstream. But he should have pushed a little bit more coming out of that corner, and then he would have been able to maybe potentially make an overtake on Barry Bogdanovsky. Oh, Grelis comes into the pits, cuts the corner there though, loses a position to Gunnar, Grelis, Adam, and Benny Buno. Oh no, not to Grelis, of course, because he's Grelis himself. Kenzie and Berserk having a heated battle. It's Berserk coming into the pits. I thought he already came into the pits, didn't he? No, this is his third stop, meaning this would be his first real stop. Here comes Mr. Miyagi. Oh, Benny Buno. No, not Benny Buno. Barry Bogdanovsky keeping the position. Mr. Miyagi is going to be really frustrated with how his race is going. He's having a battle for a decent amount of points. B10 scores points, though, as they clinch wheels, apparently really going very slow. And Kenji caught up as well. So Kenji might even be running away with this top 10 position. And then Mr. Miyagi drops back to B12, Barry to B11. Stewart now coming into the pits as well. Where is he gonna drop out? Where is he gonna end up in? Probably P3, maybe even P4. Uh-oh, this is not gonna be good for Stewart. Oh, it's Benny Buno coming into the pits as well. Will Stewart be ahead of Adam, or will he be behind? They're coming out side by side, but Adam with about a 2-second gap to Stewart. This is looking great for both Adam and Stewart, because Stewart cannot be caught up in some dirty air, and he cannot be caught up in the battle with Adam either. Magic Poop Cannon bumps up to P6. Let's have a quick look what the tires are looking like. 30 lap old, whoa, 30 lap old wet tires for both Phantom and Gunnar, currently still in the top 5. Then we've got Magic Poop Cannon on 30 lap old wet tires. And also Barry Bogdanovsky hasn't come to the pits yet. Benny Buno in a crash, as there is a yellow flag here in Sector 1. Some heated battles as well. Everyone coming out of the pits at the moment. Miyagi in the middle of this battle between Benny Buno and Kenji, as Barry Bogdanovsky now drops back to a P8, to P9 as well, as Miyagi makes a move around the outside. Up the inside he goes, as Barry Bogdanovsky drops back to P10 now. Joe Hayward on his tail as well, as we've got a battle again. We've got a race again, guys. Uh-oh, look at that. Joe Hayward just shooting through. Barry Bogdanovsky can simply benefit from that very easily. Benny has a lot to make up for. Grell is on the tail of Gunnar. One second, guys, because my headset is hurting my ears at the moment, which is not great. This is better. I hope it is better for you as well. As sometimes you gotta sacrifice something for the better, and the better is my ears. Sacrifice is the voice quality. The Ferrari driver choosing to go for the wet lines. The Alpine driver staying onto the dry lines. This could be an advantage for Gunnar, though, as he also dropped out of the... well, didn't give any slipstream to Grelis either. Is that a yellow flag? No, that's not a yellow flag. It's Miyagi in the middle of a McLaren and a Kick Sauber. For some reason, they gave a very yellow line out of there. Oof, I'm really going to take a break real quick, because I've got to pull off my headset real quick, and it's going to be about a minute. Thank you, guys. And it's Joe Hayward with a fully functioning front wing who simply cannot get past Barry Bogorovsky, though. He does push him till the limits because he just got a penalty there, Barry Bogorovsky. And Joe Hayward simply has to put the pressure even more onto the shoulders of Barry Bogorovsky. In the top 9, we're not looking at anyone who's gaining time. Benny Buno with that new fresh set of tires does set the fastest lap so far. And here they come, coming down the straight. These three are the only things that's keeping these races interesting, because earlier we had a lot of guys mixed up with some new tires, some old tires, as Hayward now making a move up the inside of Barry Bogorovsky. Is he gonna try and get that move back? Done. Doesn't seem like it though. And as soon as these guys are gonna... Oh, look at that gap between Phantom and Adam. That is just insane. Phantom still has got to come into the pits though, and unsure how old the tire... Well, I could see how old the tires are. They're 32 lap old hard tires, but he's not coming into the pits. I think he already came to the pits, didn't he? He already came into the pits. No way. That's insane. He came into the pits 7 laps ago. Or did he just come out of the pits? I think he just came out of the pits. Yeah, he just came out of the pits, so it's 20 seconds to Stewart at the moment. It's Adam. Oh, wait. Did I remove the... Oh, no. I thought I removed the track map, but apparently not. He's going to be just behind Adam. Just behind Gunnar. Ahead of Benny Buno, though, so that's good news. He was in a battle with Benny Buno for quite some time, but Benny Buno got caught up in some battles, I guess. Otherwise, it wouldn't explain why Adam is ahead of the McLaren driver. But we will be seeing some good battles between the both of them. I'm pretty sure of that. Because Benny Buno is about a second and a half behind the Red Bull driver for now. But that gap will shrink. I can tell you that for sure. Brandon's still stuck on the tail of Barry Bogorovsky. Hayward is just... how am I gonna explain this? Ran away. He just ran away. 4.5 seconds now already. It was only 3.6 earlier, about 2 corners ago. So we can really see the difference between Joe Hayward's pace and Barry Bogorovsky's pace. Then Brandon really isn't there today. Brandon really isn't up for a battle with anyone. He's not looking for a move on Barry Bogorovsky either, so we still have about 20 more laps to go, but I hope that Brandon is going to do something about this. Oh, and Reliot caught up as well. Look at Reliot. He was looking for a move on the inside, but decided not to go for it. Coming down the straight now, a little snap there by Reliot as well. But he won't be able to use any DRS. Like we said before, it's raining too heavily. It would create some very dangerous situations for the guys here in Singapore. A yellow flag. That's an Aston Martin Lil Mikey. And will that be a red flag? Doesn't look like it. Neither a yellow flag, so Berserker now looking for a move on the Aston Martin driver. Oh, and he cut the wire. Oh, look at that. Little Mikey to the wall. Is he stuck? Oh, and a yellow flag. Virtual safety car, and I was going to say Little Mikey is stuck, but apparently not. He's not going in the right way, is he? Oh, no, he is. Never mind, I didn't say a thing. Virtual safety car out there. The real safety car not coming out, but we're looking at a decent battle here between Magic Pook and Adam and Benny Buno, as Benny Buno caught up to the Red Bull driver again. And this is some good news for Phantom. We can really hope that he's not going to have a safety car, because that would ruin his plans and ruin his race. unsure what's happening here between these guys, because Adam was really doing some dangerous stuff there. He cannot make an overtake on Magic Boot Cannon, and he knows that he can't, obviously, with the T at the back of the word. You say what? You say word. You say what? You say word. D. Wait. WORD. 10-second time penalty for Adam T. That's not great. I have no idea why he just got speeding under safety car. Gunnar with a 10-second time penalty, or was that a drive-through? I can't even remember what the penalty is for a drive-through. Oh, it's it's a drive. Oh, no, for speed. Oh, it doesn't matter. Drive-through for Gunnar. He comes into the pits, and that will be... Oh, and he's got a broken front wing as well. Unsure what happened there for Gunnar, but this will not be his race. And neither will it be for Elliott, because he dropped back to P12 again. It was in such a decent position earlier, and just... What happened? What is happening? A yellow flag again? It's going to be a full safety car, apparently. And well, I said this was going to be bad news for Phantom, but then on the other hand, you know, the other guys weren't even able to keep up with Phantom, so I don't think it matters that much. Barry Bogdanovsky with a drive-through penalty now as well for speeding under the safety car. And we're going to take a little break here because obviously we're going to have a safety car. Maybe we should focus on who comes into the pits as well. Let me just double check with the tires here real quick. Magic Poop Cannon is gonna... Well, he's gonna do a good job with coming into the pits, actually. He's gonna be on very fresh, wet tires and potentially get about a top 6 position at the end of the Grand Prix. Grell has left the session. Grell has left the session. He might need an invite back. Let's try that. I don't even know if I've got him as a friend. I don't think I got him as a friend. No, I don't. He needs to add me, or somebody else needs to add him. Alright, but as I said before, we're gonna have a little break here. You guys can figure out who's coming into the pits yourself. I'm gonna try and get Grellis back into the lobby. And we're back at it again here for 15 more laps of racing in Singapore. A couple of guys have decided to go on to the intermediate tires, including Miyagi, currently in P8, as he gets a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, together with Brandon, unsure what's up with that. And a 10-second time penalty for Magic Poop Cannon as well. Oh no, it's Kenji who got a 10-second time penalty for a collision with Magic Poop Cannon. So Magic seems to be one of the only drivers in the top 10 without a penalty, and that will do him very, very well, as we're off to a good start here at the front of the pack, as it's gonna be the Geeks Hour driver letting through most of the guys. Skipper, who got doubled there by almost everyone. Well, actually everyone. Stewart now has to try and keep up with Phantom, although it doesn't seem as easy as it sounds. Phantom, who did have a 20-second gap earlier on, before that safety car came out, and really now on the tail of Joe Hayward. As Joe Hayward on the older tires, the older wet tires. It doesn't look like the intermediates were a good shot for Miyagi. He's not gaining any time on Reliot at the moment, but everyone behind Reliot simply has gone on to the intermediates, except for Skipper and Lil Mikey. But both drivers are currently in a world of their own. Another safety car. Another safety car, which I don't mind too much, actually. We could have another break, but I'll just keep on talking because I had a break earlier on as well. Actually, it's alright. I'm really wondering to see whether we're going to see other drivers go on to the intermediate tires as well. That would be very, very exciting. What would actually be the national anthem of Singapore? I think it would be very... Let me just listen to it real quick. I think it will be very spicy. Maybe a little... Well, probably many, many tunes and stuff. I feel like that's going to be the case. Reliot coming into the pits on 18-lap-old wet tires. He's going to switch on to the intermediates. Okay, so Singapore... national anthem. Let me just listen to it real quick. It's called Miula Singapura. Do you guys want me to sing it? I can sing if you want me to. Oh, it's actually fun. Oh wait, that's actually a fun song. Well, a fun song. It's a national anthem, of course. No, it sounds really good for anyone who is Singaporean. Fun one. The Belgian one sounds way more stupid, way worse. So you've done a good job there. Apart from that, we have simply got a race again, because of the amount of guys that have gone onto the intermediates. If I were Phantom, I would stay out on these wet tires because it's still pouring out rain, but you do have some dry lines forming. All you've got to do on the wet tires is simply stay on the wet part of the track, and you will be able to cool down your tires. Although the circus umbrellas are out again here in Singapore. You can see the green, red, blue, yellow something. And the safety car is not coming in yet, so we're gonna have another quick break because I gotta drink something, and yeah, I'll be right back. Apparently, we're going to have another red flag situation, a jump start for Brandon, as that will be a drive-through penalty for him as well. Miyagi has gone on to another set of intermediate tires. I have no idea what happened. And a 3-second time penalty for Benny Buno now as well. Let's have a quick look with the penalties. Everyone has a penalty in the top 10, except for Phantom, and a lot of carnage there heading into turn 1. It's going to be the Ferrari Gunner who's in the wall. Really slow at the moment. And will he create another red flag? He's going to drive backwards, goes back on track, and that will be the end of his race, I'm afraid. But apart from that, everyone here in the top... well, Stewart has gone onto the intermediate tires, and he's going to be on the tail of Phantom. So he's really catching up now to the V-Carb drivers. So maybe the intermediates were a good shot for Stewart. He really seems to be not struggling at all with the car. Oh, wait. He might be struggling a little bit. Sliding all over the place. He's about 6 tenths, 7 tenths behind Phantom. And coming out of the corners, he's really losing a bit of time there as well. Benny Buno on the wet tires. As we might want to have a quick look with the well, I was going to say the penalties, but Grell has dropped back to P11 again. This is not good news for the Alpine driver, because now Benny Buno has got way many positions. Well, is way many positions ahead of him. Let's go on board with Adam with once again another good race from the Red Bull driver. Well, once again, not necessarily, because this is his first race. It's a rookie here in Delta T Racing. And Mr. Miyagi is letting Adam go through, but he knows that Adam has got a 6-second time penalty more than him, so he shouldn't be worried about that too much. Kenji doesn't have a penalty at all, so he's going to gain plenty of positions here as well, with about 9 more laps to go here in Singapore. Brandon and Gorellas are having a scramble with each other as well. Gorellas, who does get a drive-through penalty. I thought it was Brandon who got a drive-through penalty, but apparently it was Gorellas, who now comes into the pits together with Joe Hayward. And Phantom is once again run away. This is, well, a little bit unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. Maybe a good... This would be a great comeback story in the championship for Phantom. He only took part in 2 races so far, this one not included. So we're going to have a 3rd race for Phantom here. But he's simply going to jump up so many positions because of the race win he's going to get here tonight. Well, of course, if he doesn't crash into the wall. Kenji with a 3-second time penalty, currently in P8. And that's going to be doing him dirty, because he would have been able to gain so many positions if he didn't get a penalty. But apparently he did. And then we've got Magic Poop Cannon, another potential top 5 finisher here because of all of the penalties. You know, you've got Adam, who's going to drop many positions. You've got Miyagi, who's going to drop a few. Berserk as well. And we know that Magic Poop Cannon is on fresh tires as well, so he should be able to gain a couple of positions here. But the wet tires still seem the better choice. Although Stewart back into that 1 second off Phantom. Why did we get another yellow? I have no idea. Maybe Lil Mikey? Lil Mikey is currently in P16, and he was on 1 lap old intermediate, so I would assume that was him who crashed out. He might have come into the pits, gone onto the intermediates, and then crashed out in that 1 lap he was on the intermediates. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any explanation for it. Reliot just made a move on Berserk here as well, as you can really see that dry line forming there, especially here in turn 9. Well, turn 8. Grill is coming into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty. That's going to be a race over for the Alpine driver. Oh, Kenji going into the back of Berserk. No real damage for the Kick Sauber driver, but he cannot keep on doing that, because it might end up in a penalty from the stewards as well. I don't think you can really report that if nothing happens to you, but still, some clean racing is requested from the drivers, and if that doesn't happen, I don't think you should be allowed to race here. Not saying that Kenji is going to do that race in, race out, but just saying that whenever you are a driver that keeps on making mistakes, keeps on crashing out other people and stuff like that, you're not going to be welcome to race here. And I can assure you of that. You know, you've got to do something about your driving. Not Kenji, I'm just talking about somebody in general who would crash out many drivers week in, week out. And it's really something that the league owners have to worry about whenever hosting a race as well. I have a league event myself, a league versus league event, and I'm always really curious about which drivers are going to be put into the lobby, because I don't know who the drivers are. As we're now looking at a move from Berserk down the inside, way too deep, almost took out Rilliot, but now comes back on track in P8. But Jabukan might even be able to make an overtake on the Haas driver now. But Berserk simply lost the braking point there. Well, didn't lose the braking point, he missed the braking point. If Stewart didn't get a penalty, this would have been a way more interesting battle. But right now, you know, 17 lap old intermediate tires, he has 6 seconds of time penalties. There's no way he's going to get the race win, I'm afraid. Only if he could force Phantom into a mistake where either Phantom is going to lose more than 6 seconds, or where he would get a 10-second time penalty. That would be quite funny. Oh no, Berserk, what was that, buddy? Oh my days. I think we're gonna have another safety car, aren't we? Oh, it's apparently just gonna be a virtual safety car. No, it's gonna be a full safety car. Alright, this gives me the chance to go to the toilet real quick. I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so I'm really confused because apparently the lobby is glitched. Grillis and Hayward have already finished the race. What the fuck is happening? They only have about a minute left for this race to finish, which is obviously not possible. Or is it maybe because the race has already been 2 hours? No, that couldn't be true because I haven't been streaming for 2 hours yet. But we're almost done with the race. There's about, well, the game says 50 seconds. Let's see if that's actually going to be the case. Phantom, who's going to be restarting this safety car restart with either 3 more laps to go or 30 more seconds to go, and the guys want to make overtakes as soon as possible because they don't know whether it's going to be 30. Oh wait, the race is already finished. Everyone is coming across the line. The race is over. What the fuck is this lobby? Oh my god. Oh my days. What is happening? Oh my god. This game is ass. We're never doing a 100% race anymore. Alrighty, here we've got the results of the Grand Prix. The winner is Phantom with a dominant race. He's the only one who had put a 142 on the board. So the fastest lap goes to him as well. Magic Poopkin apparently P2, Kenji in P3, Stuart in P4, Gunnar in P5, Betty Buno in P6, Barry in P7, Relied in P8, Skipper in P9, and Miyagi in P10. For we've got Brandon, Adam, Grillis, Hayward, and Berserk. And then we've got our DNS for tonight, Lil Mikey and Waza. Well, this was one of the strangest races I've ever... No, this was the strangest race I've ever done. We had 2 red flags. No, 3 red flags. We had 3 safety cars. We had a race that hasn't even finished. We have somebody who was all the way at the bottom of the grid, currently in P2. And we have Skipper who was lapped, I think twice, in P9. What the fuck happened here? Well, doesn't matter, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My apologies for the silence throughout the race. Obviously, a 100% race to commentate on is very, very hard by myself. So I had to take a little break every now and then. But I like you for watching this race. But I'd like to thank you very much for watching this live stream. And I'll see you guys next week, probably. Have a good night. Bye-bye.